From China to Australia. On a breezy afternoon in March 1989, a girl and a boy from the major cities of China, Shanghai and Beijing, met at the registration desk in Aurora Ashfield Language School. It was love at first sight. This is the story of my mom's migration journey from Shanghai to Sydney and how it has impacted my life today. Her story is similar to the ones shared by 117,300 people who migrated to Sydney between 1989 to 1999 in the hopes of making this country their new home. Upon arriving in her new Sydney home, shared amongst 3 other international students like her, she felt like a child in a giant lolly store, bedazzled by all the new technologies and furniture she'd never seen before, including a drum washing machine and a large leather sofa. After living in Sydney for the first week, she found it difficult to get used to seeing so many vibrantly coloured clothing worn around the streets, because back at home, people only wore simple blue or white shirts and pants. My mother grew up in Shanghai during the Cultural Revolution, and who recounts her mother tailoring some of her clothes. One day, she wore a pair of fitted black and white pants to school. Her classmates called her 小资, which means pretty bourgeoisie, as she recalls over our recent phone call. At that time, being called a bourgeoisie is the worst thing that could happen to someone. From that moment on, I never wore those pair of pants again, says Mom. That was it for her. So that was a lesson Mom gradually learnt when she was 7. You had to look like everyone else, or otherwise you would get into trouble. This incident planted a seed in her to escape to somewhere where she could be free. This seed grew larger by the time she turned 14, when she witnessed the death of Mao Zedong, the preeminent figure of the Chinese Communist Revolution and the leader of her country since 1949. On the day of September 9th, she remembers hearing the Internationale, the World Socialist Anthem, echo over the city from loudspeakers at dusk as bicycles made their way home from work. Everyone rushed indoors to hear the news about Mao. It was a truly depressing time for everyone, according to Mom. She thought to herself, I must study hard and get into a good university so I can see the outside world. My mother got into Shanghai Jiao Tong University with a bachelor degree in electric engineering. My grandparents were so proud of her since not many people were able to attend university back then. Australia just so happened to be deficient in engineering students, and with the Bachelor of Electric Engineering graduation certificate, she satisfied the requirements needed for Australia's skilled independent visa. This brings us back to the beginning scene of the story, where they got married a few months later and travelled to Queensland for honeymoon. I was born in 1996 and was obviously the apple of my parents' eye. Growing up, I was influenced by my mom's firm belief on the importance of education. So throughout childhood, I immersed myself in every opportunity where I get to learn new knowledge or skills. I attended school in Presbyterian Ladies College in Croydon and actively involved myself in the school rowing team, orchestra, received speech lessons and private flute tuition. These things were only possible because of my parents' hard work and the sacrifices they made. I grew up knowing how invaluable education is, and I'm inspired to guide individuals to live their best life. Although this may sound cliche, but I have a strong desire to give back to this country to make my parents proud. That is why I chose to become a primary school teacher in Australia.